Names in crypto usually signal ambition. This one signals discipline. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius. Xenon isn't a futuristic coinage. It's the original Greek form of Zeno, a name shared by two philosophers whose questions about motion and agency prefigure the hardest problems in decentralized design. This essay argues that the name is a deliberate reference to that lineage and that the spelling is itself part of the signal. The project's creators have not confirmed this publicly. What they have done is build an architecture that answers with uncomfortable precision the exact questions those philosophers asked. Whether the name is a conscious nod or a convergence of instincts, the structural match is too clean to ignore. Why Zenon and not something else? The name could be read other ways. It echoes a Hebrew root meaning gift from God. It shares a name with a Disney Channel movie. It sounds clean and modern, the kind of word a tech project might choose purely for cadence. But pop culture and religious echoes cluster around the Latinized Zeno. Xenon is the unfiltered Greek form, a deliberate step back towards source material, not forward towards style. In a project that is otherwise precise about its technical language, that step is a signal. The philosophical lineage matters here. A name like this does not fully reveal itself until the thing it names is understood. You cannot hear what Xenon is saying until you understand what Xenon is doing. That understanding begins with its architecture. Zeno of Elea, the finality problem. Zeno of Elea, active in 5th century Greece, is remembered for his paradoxes. The most famous, Achilles, can never overtake a tortoise because before he closes the gap, the tortoise has moved again. This sounds like a puzzle. It is not. It is an argument about the difference between something appearing to progress and something actually being complete. Execution is not truth. Most blockchains treat a transaction that has run as a transaction that is valid. A block that has been added is treated as final, but these are not the same claim, and Zeno's paradoxes exist precisely to expose that gap. Other projects have recognized this problem. The separation of execution from settlement is not new. What is less common is a system that treats ordering itself as the foundational layer, building proof of correctness into the architecture, rather than layering it on afterward. If a system cannot formally define what it means for something to be finished, not just running, but verifiably done, then it is built on assumption rather than proof. Xenon's architecture reads as a direct response to this problem. It is a system that refuses to mistake motion for completion. Zeno of Citium, the resilience problem. Zeno of Citium, working roughly 2 centuries later, founded Stoicism. The popular version, don't feel things, is a misreading. What Zeno actually built was a framework for maintaining rational agency when external conditions become hostile or unpredictable. The core discipline is simple. Distinguish sharply between what you control and what you do not. Act on the former. Remain undisturbed by the latter. Coordination isn't sovereignty. Applied to decentralized infrastructure, this becomes a question about what survives failure. Can a participant still verify when the broader network degrades? Can someone maintain control over their own keys and data when coordination mechanisms break down? Most blockchain projects treat these as edge cases, problems to solve after the system is already working. Zeno of Citium would invert that priority entirely. A system that only functions when everything else is functioning is not actually decentralized. Resilience is not a feature. It is the ground on which every feature stands. Two philosophers, two layers. The two Zenos share no history, but they share a structure. And that structure is exactly what Xenon encodes in its architecture. Zeno of Elea governs proof. Does motion ever conclude? Zeno of Citium governs persistence. Can reason continue when conditions degrade? One defines truth, the other preserves agency. Together, they form a dialectic, and Xenon's architecture is built around exactly that dialectic, split into two layers that operate by different rules. The meta-DAG is the finality layer. It governs ordering, records proof of completion, and determines what counts as settled. The transactional ledger is the execution layer. It processes activity, maintains continuity, and keeps functioning even when the broader system is under stress. One layer asks whether something is done. The other asks whether something can keep going. These are not redundant functions. They are structurally separate by design. Fittingly, its name points to two thinkers who made the same separation in philosophy. In a dual ledger world, two Zenos make perfect sense. In mathematics, Zenos' paradoxes force a reconciliation between continuity and discreteness. In Zenon, that reconciliation becomes code. Momentum as continuous execution, finality as discrete verification. The philosophical separation and the architectural one are not analogous, they are the same. This is not coincidence. It is a philosophical blueprint encoded in a name, a constraint, not a promise. If the name is drawn from this lineage, it functions less as a brand and more as a set of obligations. It will never confuse execution with finality, and it will never assume that coordination is the same as sovereignty. These are not selling points. They are restrictions. The kind that only makes sense if the goal is correctness rather than growth. Correctness, by its nature, is asymptotic. Zeno of Elea understood this. Motion toward a destination never arrives in a single leap. It arrives through endless, ever smaller refinements, each one closing the gap without ever fully sealing it. Like consensus itself, it advances only by refinement, never assumption. That is not a flaw. It is the shape of rigorous progress. The honest system does not declare victory, it converges endlessly. The network of momentum. One question remains, and it is the right one to end on. If Zeno of Elea spent his life arguing that motion is harder to prove than it appears, why would a network that takes his paradoxes seriously call itself a network of momentum? The answer is not irony, it is resolution. Zeno did not deny that Achilles moves. He denied that anyone had bothered to explain how. The paradox is not that motion fails. It is that motion, left unexamined, collapses into hand-waving. The moment you prove it rigorously, the paradox dissolves. Achilles does overtake the tortoise. The infinite series does converge. Motion is real, but only once someone has done the work to show why. That is what Zenon the network is built to do. Not to stop at the paradox, not to pretend the hard problem does not exist, but to resolve it. To take the thing every other system waves away and actually prove it, step by step, refinement by refinement. Momentum in this reading is not a claim about speed. It is a claim about progress that has been earned, movement that has been verified, advance that does not ask you to trust it, but shows you why it is true. The network of momentum is not named for how fast it moves. It is named for what it means to move honestly. Conclusion. Zeno of Elea warned that motion breaks down under imprecise definitions. Zeno of Citium warned that freedom breaks down under dependency. The name Zenon sits at the intersection of those two warnings. Two philosophers, two layers, one discipline. Verification is truth. Sovereignty is resilience. It is not a gift from the gods, nor a nod to a movie, nor a word chosen for how it sounds. It is a reminder that time, truth, and sovereignty do not forgive sloppy reasoning. If that is the lineage the project is drawing from, the name is not poetic. It is precise. And precision, more than ambition, is the only thing that endures. Zenon's network of momentum is fully open source and community run. More formal documentation and ongoing community research can be found at github.com.